this meeting to order.
I just separated that in. Okay, yeah. Want me to read that?
Please.
In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which our organization stands is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Epquik Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future.
Why are we getting it back?
I am too.
I realize that, or should we be getting it back? Okay.
Declaration
No
of
problem.
conflict of interest. No?
Order, no. I was just gonna suggest if we can shut the office door and then we'll cut down on that. Sure.
Okay.
So we should approve the agenda.
The-
Yeah, we should approve the agenda and then vote.
Okay. So the approval of agenda.
So
All in favor?
With amendment, Paul, seconded?
John?
Yes.
Okay.
Did someone say there was one amendment?
We're just moving her shop.
We're, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All in favor? Excuse me. Where actually-
So we're gonna have ours. Do you wanna go ahead and do the minutes?
we can- Excuse me.
I move to approve. I have concerns on the minutes of last month.
So do you wanna wait and then do Hirsch and then the minutes?
Yeah, well, maybe we better, we'll do her first. We'll come back to that. Delegations, Harash, Butler's Clover Farm.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for giving us time. I met all of you in person, maybe before, but my memory is bad on the name, so my apologies on that side. But no, thank you so much for giving us some time. It's year and a half since we took over. We took over a big business, so we are still learning on it. So why I'm here today is to ask for the support from community, which I always get. But I think some of you are aware of like what happened in last 2 months. Some particular people, they never came to me and they went on like social media and whatever, and that affects my reputation a lot, right? Like we are a small family with 2 kids and we are still trying to do our best, and that's why we come on Saturday, Sunday. We don't come to like make money. We generally come to see people, get interaction. If there is any concern, we can listen into it and we can improve it. Again, like taking this kind of business, which is not my expertise, but we are still learning into it with our staff, and of course we have huge turnaround on the staff as well. So it's combination of everything. So I just want to say, because I know it's on video and everybody's watching, just want to say like huge thank you to everyone. When we had a tough time and everybody came to me and supported me, either with the text or see me in person and stuff like that. So thank you so much for that. So that was my big thing today, to say thank you to the community, because I'm not from here. It's only 1 year and a half, but the way we got supported, we loved it. So just want to pass that message, like thank you, thank you, thank you. Second thing, I think some people or those negative people have concerned that like we are only here to make money or for the smaller period of time. We are not here for that. We are here for a longer period of time. We want to learn, we want to succeed, right? If we are here for a smaller period of time, we would not invest our time in here. I can easily sell it to somebody, make some money, but I'm not looking towards person. We are looking for a good future here. And when I say future, I'm not looking at like 1, 2 years, I'm looking for longer term as much as I can have. But all I would need is, it's a small town, it's community, right? So I would need community support, and I'm getting it. And I'm learning as well, so now I'm learning to take out those negative factors and put less attention towards it. Because if there is serious concern, then they would directly come to me and not go on social media or just talk to me or one of our staff, right? But they never did. And if there is any, again, if there is any serious concern of people want to see something, if they don't want to see something, come to me, talk to me. I'm here Saturday, Sunday only for that reason. Even Faye there all the time, all the staff members are there. Just show your concerns. And if you want us to like carry extra stuff, please let us know. There is only way of interaction, right? And that is the way that we can carry more or do some changes if required. But if you don't know, we don't know. So again, like minor things, but going on social media is not helping anybody. It's just affecting our reputation. And I could have taken legal steps, and also I want to show my express my intention now that like if those particular people gonna do that again, I might gonna go towards the legality. But I want to give them fair chances. And I know it's small community, everybody is related to everyone, and I really don't want to go that far. That's not I'm here for, right? I'm not here for fight or anything. It's just, but they should understand that like we have kids, we are putting so much time towards it, so much hard work. If you have concern, come talk to me. I have no problem. Like I'll improve. But if I don't know, we don't know. And just for X amount of reason or you don't like us, and it doesn't mean that business is bad, right? So that's affecting us personally as well a lot because anytime that happens, I have to come here, solve those or whatever it is. So just want to say that like I think I have given enough amount of like fair chances to them, but and they still come in a store and buy it. That's the worst thing. I have never seen anybody like this. Like if you don't like why you are still, I'm not saying that you do not come, but complain and stuff like that, bring it to me. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to stop me, I'm still not banning them from the store. I could have done that easily. I don't want to go that route. As I said, I'm here to go improve. So just want to pass that concerns. But again, the way I got supported, tremendous. Like we were never expected to get this kind of support within 1.5 years, especially when you are from different country, different language, and this much of support, right? So, so to say, yes, yeah, thank you on that side. Like, and hopefully we'll continuously get supported on that side. I heard that price concern was there. I'm a small store, I'm a convenience store, but still, I would say please come into store and look at our new prices. We have taken it down whatever best we can do. So please come and take a look and then you realize that like how much we reduced it. But in compared to the big stores, sorry, I cannot. It's not like my area, right? I cannot have that much of discount or I cannot take a loss because I had to pay my staff as well and take care of that. So that's
Hence the word convenience store.
true, but
Figure out how much it costs you for gas to go to
Yes.
Montague and back.
thank you. Some people
I
understand.
think
Some-
most people are actually very thankful to have this store.
We're going.
Very grateful.
A small percentage doesn't tell, I've said this to you
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
we've talked about it, and I've told you, like, the small percentage, you know, you're not gonna make everybody happy no matter what.
No.
But you can try, you know, there's no harm in trying, but people are people and,
Yeah.
you know. I
And
mean,
that's what we are learning.
majority,
As days goes,
Yeah.
that what are the challenges we can have in small community and how much support we can have in small community. Everyone has two sides, right? So learning all this, but again, like those support was really amazing. So we are grateful for that.
I think the one positive thing that came out of this was that it was a heads up for the admins for out and about in Murray Harbour to watch for these types of posts. And they have been very clear in saying that they will be removed moving forward. So that will mean that the few people who have issue with you or your business or whatever, will not have a platform anymore. They will have to go to you directly, or they will not have a voice at all.
Thank you so much. That's really appreciated because as I said, like people around here, they know us, right? But when it goes on social media, if somebody's coming from outside, it creates negative impact. So again, like we don't want to go that route. Like we want to improve, we want to learn. And as I said, like I'm not here for 1 or 2 years. I'm here for the long term. And that's what our goal is since
We
we
should
purchased.
hope so.
No, and that's what our goal is because again, it's a business, right? So I'm not saying like I'm just doing charity. I'm making some money out of it as well, like for sure. But
Yeah, why would you be here otherwise?
no, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's win-win for both, like community and us as well. But we want to grow. Like we doesn't want to stop here. We have some future plans as well. Like we want to do so much extra. One thing is like after Thanksgiving, we're gonna start the soup and the like small bread and something like that. So we are introducing like new things as time goes. But something like this comes up, it will put us back.
Yeah.
And it's funny that like those, anyways, I don't want to say anything bad on that, but no. So thank you so much for that. Second thing is I don't have the exact date, but I think it's next Friday or the Friday afterwards or around this October end. Um, there is a small business organization. They want to do free barbecue for the community, and we are taking participation into it. So if you guys have no problem, it will be a free barbecue setup in our parking lot, and it's for everyone. They can have free barbecue, cold drinks, and it's just our way of saying thank you to the community and small giveaway. Like I won't say giveaway, it's just thank you from our side.
Hirsch, did you also want to speak to, the community fridge?
Yes, that was my opinion, yeah. So, any concerns over having that barbecue set up in our parking lot?
I think that after should be clean and everything.
Oh, yeah, it will be, yeah. And it will never go out of the parking lot, it's just, it will be busy that day, right? Sure. Okay, can I take yes for that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. And yes, the last thing is the community fridge. As I said, like we want to grow and we want to give back. So what I'm trying to offer from my side is whoever buys from the store, whatever, apart from smoke and liquor, for the community fridge, I want to give them 5% discount at the top before tax. So nobody will think like it's after tax or whatever before tax. And that's 5%. It's from
Oversight.
Butler store side as a donation or give back to or to the community fridge.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also I want to make sure that like nobody's taking on other route. Like I want to make sure it's going to the community fridge when it's being said that it is going to the community fridge. So couple of idea I was having in my mind, and this is just my idea, like everybody has different ideas, right? But my idea was like I can have a box set up into the store where whoever wants to donate how much, they can just put the amount of money. And we already have an account for the community fridge. So whoever wants to buy, we can still, like they can still buy it at that month. And on that bill straight, I can do 5% off and we can take that money towards it, right?
Yeah.
If that's okay with everyone.
That's great.
However it works.
And again, like this is just my idea.
Yep.
I was initially thinking to have a box setup over there as well, because when somebody says it is for the community free, it should go into that box, right? And then people can just buy, put it there, and at the end of the day, or somebody can come grab it, or some of, if one of us have time, we'll drop it into the fridge, and it will be there, kind of every day, right? Because I also want to make sure, like, let's say if somebody buy lettuce or something, they want it today. After 2 days, of course, it's a fresh vegetable, so it's gonna get like a little bit darker, right? And I don't want to have anybody that like that, like, oh, they're giving us the wrong stuff. Like, it's not wrong. It's this amount of time. So, but no, we want to give 5% off either way, or if anybody has different ideas. But that's my give back to community.
everybody's generous.
Just a question, so if somebody from the community fridge committee goes over to buy, say, milk and bread, they're just gonna charge that on a slip?
Yeah.
But if I go in, just myself, to buy some milk or something for the fridge, and I'm just buying it myself to put in the fridge,
So, but then again, that thing comes in, right? Like how we can control, because
yeah,
like let's say somebody else comes in, they buy $100 worth of stuff, they say it's for community fridge. If they don't put it in there,
yeah.
then it's those situations where I don't wanna go into.
So I think maybe it would be better if it's just based on what the committee members are going in and charging. Because they're a committee member, you know it's going to the community fridge, and you're charging it back to us.
Good idea.
And
Or
then-
any dedicated people, like let's say we
Yeah.
can have 2, 3 dedicated people, because money gonna be, and again, on that money part, it should be locked, and I don't need that. It should be with,
Yeah,
like whoever you guys decide, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
So at the month, and whoever opens it, how much money in there, and
Yeah.
it can be settled down. And again, like let's say this month there is not enough money, I can carry forward, so I'm good with that as well. I don't need to like settle down every month. If there is less money or less donations, because winter people go away, or less population here, right? So I can still carry forward and I can hold on. So I just want to give back the best possible way I can.
Yeah.
And that's just wanted to say thank you for this amazing support. So think on it, if there is any better idea, I'm okay, like, I have no restriction on myself. It's just I don't want to go in those negative situations,
Yeah.
because I think I had enough of those. So, no, I think that is all from my side. I'm just thinking that if I'm missing anything or not, but yes, and yeah, what Rumi is saying, like some people had concern on the meat. So now what we have started, our meat comes from Siemens, everybody knows. Like what is used to cut, we don't cut our meat anymore. It comes from Siemens and we only get portion of it. But now what you're gonna see in outside cooler, where you see in this store, it would be only like 2 or 3 different items of 2 or 3 each, right? But in the back stock, we would have a lot. So if you need more, just come and tell the cashier that like, I need more, they will give you more. It's just trying to reduce on our side of wastage and people's, anyways, like whatever, so want to have it, provide the fresh stuff as much as I can. So awesome, thank you so much. If there is anything for me, again, like towards you and towards the whole community, if there is any concern, please bring it to me. I will be happy to help on it, happy to work on it, and we will get it.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
asking.
for coming.
We love it. We love the people and we love it. We enjoy it here.
She wants to move it.
Well, hello, what's the holdup?
No, down the road, right? Like, we still have to figure out the fee stuff and stuff.
Kids and
Teasing
dog.
you.
No, but that's how much he liked here.
I love it.
We're very happy to have you here.
Thank
You
you.
gotta get moved here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks an awful lot. Okay, so we're gonna go back to
Somebody can use it.
approval of agenda.
Minutes.
Thanks.
Minutes. Oh, yeah. Approval of the minutes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The regular council meeting of September the 11th, 2024.
Councilor Robinson had a
Mr.
issue or
Mayor.
something in there.
Yeah, so 11A, last week's discussion on Nellie's Landing. We discussed several concerns people had conveyed to them orally.
Yeah.
And I just noticed we minuted this quite thoroughly and called it complaints. And to me, a complaint is a letter with a signature on it or someone standing there with a face on it that we can track and follow up on, rather than conversations, anonymous conversations that have
Yeah.
just hearsay.
Yeah.
And we discussed.
Well, this
that last
wasn't
week.
hearsay, this was
Sorry?
I had talked to the neighbor, I had talked to Gary about it. And there was another neighbor also that didn't want their names out.
Well,
I know.
Sorry, but if you can't put your name to it, then
No, well, I guess I could have if I wanted to push it. But anyway, I just wanted them to know that we're losing a family over it, a young family.
well, again, we have a conflict of interest with the neighbors, and we can talk around that. And if we're talking about my neighbors, they're a young family, they've been in their starter home, they're moving on up, they're looking forward to moving on.
They are now, they were looking forward to staying right where they were all along. Until the music and the stinking dogs were playing straight in front of their house and they had smell it all winter and everything else. That was some of the complaints. I got them last fall. I had complaints from different people over the docks.
We've had those,
I can get you all the names you want, if you want names, buddy.
those dogs have been sitting on that.
I know they have.
Every winter
Yeah.
since I moved in 2006.
And we put up with the smell.
And so that that has been there ongoing for at least
I know,
17, 18
I know,
years.
it's been going on for a long time. But that still doesn't make it right.
But at one time,
Right.
it was just docks. Now it's
It
a
really
village.
is.
And the dogs
What?
have been changed.
At one time, it was
I
just
don't
the
know
docks.
about
And
that.
one time it was just the
Now
dogs.
there's 6 floating,
The dogs are staying in the water this winter, as are all the floating units.
The last 2 years. Last
This
year,
coming year,
Yeah.
they're staying in the water, they won't be coming out this
okay.
year.
Okay.
So, John, for the minutes, is your concern with the word complaint?
Yes,
So if that was concern,
concerns that we've discussed, I fully concur.
so are we okay with
Change
changing
complaint
complaints
to
to
concerns.
concerns? Sure.
Concerned, yeah.
And also that we, as we noted on the garbage, whoever's complaining about the garbage is misinformed. The garbage does not come from Lily's Landing, and it's all ongoing. WI litter pickup weekend, I picked up 16 bags of liquor-related litter. That's a long-standing problem, does not come from Lily's Landing.
well, you seem to be quite a spokesman for Nellie's Landing.
He does, doesn't he?
Are you getting this from first-hand information, or is this just a rumor?
I walk up and down Main Street every day picking up liquor.
No, I mean, you know what's going on in Nellie's
I
Landing.
live right next door to it.
That's not my question.
So let me get this straight. You walk up and down the street picking up what?
When on my
Liquor
daily trip
bottles,
to the
did you
post
say?
office, it's not unusual to pick up beer cans.
I'm not against Nellie's Landing. I'll tell you right now, John. I think it's a great thing. But the other side of it is, that bothers me the most, is we're losing young people in our community. These kids are gonna grow up in the community, they're not gonna now. They're gonna grow up outside the community. Because I don't blame them for moving away. I mean, you got a 4-year-old, or a 5-year-old, or a 3 or 2-year-old, and the music's going at 11:30 at night. Now, don't shake your head and say no, because I've been out there. I've been out there myself and heard it. I've sat out on the deck. No lights on, but I've sat out there, me and Sandy, and Jason, and listened to the music. Because I like music, but it was late. It didn't happen every time, but it did happen this one night. And I didn't say nothing about it, nobody complained to me about it, but it was just, you're abusing the powers by going later than what you said, right?
Could we step back one moment, because I remember 2 years ago, we sat around this table, our first meeting.
Yeah.
And one of our discussion points was actually getting a consultant in, a tourism development consultant, to bring tourism to this village. And we have tourists coming now.
Yep.
And can we balance this, please, that the village is going to change? We have
Oh, I know it's gonna
VRBOs
change.
all up and down Riverside. We have residential homes for our our seasonal workers. The village is changing. I can't say I love it, but it's changing.
Oh, yes. It's changing whether we like it or not, you know. I mean, I know, but my part of it is, like I've said twice to you now, it bothers me when we're losing kids. Because then kids could be up here playing. Instead, when they get home from school, mama says you gotta do your homework, right? Okay, after homework, I wanna go up to the playground at the Harbour. Well, it's too late. We're gonna have supper, and it's too late to walk. So, whereas they could walk up, that young girl walked up pretty near every day up by our place with little one here, his granddaughter. And I was glad to see that in the community. I wish the village was full of kids. When I was growing up, there was 30 plus. And it's a shame because our village is dying. It's all old people who are dying. We need youth. We don't need to drive them away. I mean, don't get me wrong, businesses, Cal's is good for here. It's helping. It helps the store. It helps Nellie's Landing. It helps the restaurant, and it helps people in the village. But we've got to come to some common ground where there has to be limits. It can't be. I've seen people walk up the street loaded ass drunk in the middle of the day.
Sort of get much.
Yes, but that's to do with Nellie's Landing,
But we can
because
talk
that's
about
where the
that
game
in
got.
the minutes.
But anyways, we're, like you said, we are getting off topic.
So then for the motion to accept the minutes, it would be hereby approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 11th, 2024, as amended, changing 11A line 6, changing complaints to concerns. Yes. So that would be the motion, so we have
All in favor?
we need a
Oh.
seconder.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay. Where are we here? Business arising from previous meetings, rural beautification site, internet.
That's me, so we're all beautification.
Not when Aaron and
However, I was taking pictures, having written that, and in this morning's mail,
Well, we approved it.
there was a letter from the Beautification Society. We are in the top 3 finalists.
Oh, way to go.
So they are having a due.
Is this based upon votes strictly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're having the awards ceremony Tuesday, October 29th at Florence Simmons Performance Hall, Holland College in Charlottetown, with appetizers, cash bar at 6:30 and awards presentation at 7:30. They would like somebody to go.
So we might win.
We might win.
So we're,
Oh, they announced it.
Yeah,
We're in the top.
yeah.
so
Well, who is sort of behind this? That's the person that should go.
Anne. Does Anne want to go? Anne more?
not really.
not really, I
Call
mean,
it a date night.
because
Hey, Florence?
yeah, well, that's better than my usual date, and then to the job.
There you go.
So if nobody else wants to go, I'll ask Lawrence if he doesn't want to go. Somebody else want to go? But yeah, I can put myself down as, if Lawrence doesn't want to go, I'll be your date. You'll be my date?
Great.
I don't
Was
dress
there
like a
anybody
cheater.
else that was cheerleading?
Might be nice to take Shannon, but that's not really her
No.
cup of tea. Okay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so.
Do you know what other communities are in the top 3?
I don't. For all I know, there was only 3 that entered.
Right.
No, there's more than that, because I was voted every day. Yeah,
So what do you say here? We did not win our category, but we still might win something.
So we didn't win our category because I hadn't received the letter until this morning, and of course I sent
Oh,
this to you
so this is-
last week, so it's,
We're not sure if it's.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're gonna move on to Mexican Independence Day.
yes,
It was a success. I heard.
great success.
Good turnout.
Fantastic turnout. PEI Navigators is absolutely thrilled. They have asked if we are willing to look at fundraising streams, maybe there's a grant or something. It took about $2,500 to pull that off. And they said if we could get a grant for 2,000, that would be a great help. So I'll keep an eye out on Sonia's grant applications. And,
They want us to apply for a grant?
yeah,
But they would
Why?
still facilitate.
they would
the event?
still facilitate it because they go by funding as well and they're limited in their funding.
But this is what they're funded to do. Am I missing something?
Not necessarily that, they're funded to do stuff, but this was the first time they've done
A big event.
a big event like that. So, I
I
just,
just would have thought because it was so successful that it would be on every year for every year.
yeah, oh, they definitely want to do it every year, they just can't fund it every year.
Well,
So they're looking at
That would depend
on
on
if there's
the
grants.
funding, I guess.
So I can keep an eye out
And they probably can't apply.
and talk to Sonia. Oh, God bless.
All right, we'll move on to Nellie's Landing.
So I had reached out to the Area Liquor Control Board, so they've done their application process. They don't have to apply again by writing to the village. They just need to go in and renew their license. If there are any concerns, we need to bring them up to the liquor board. But I think maybe reaching out to Cal and Jen, asking them to formalize their hours and their plans, because going back to Cal's application, it did not lead council to believe it was going to be an everyday operating. It was a couple of functions a year.
I have to agree with you on that. That was what Cal said. It would be 2 to 3 events over the season. Wouldn't be much.
And I don't think they would have a problem formalizing their plans.
Right. Just so we know what.
So we're asking for an updated submission, basically, of what their plans were.
Just a letter from
Just so
them
we know.
stating what their hours of operation are going to be. Are they going to be open every day?
Special events.
Or is, especially.
What are the
events.
hours, basically,
Yeah,
with the liquor license specifically?
because the liquor license really does go from 9 AM to 2 AM.
Right.
So, and then that way it gives council a better idea of what their plans are, and then if council has concerns, they can go back to Cal and,
Okay.
work it out there, and then if there's no working between them, then you'd have to take your concerns to the liquor board.
So when would he's closing down at the end of October? He wouldn't reopen until May or something?
That's up to him.
So we'll ask for something a month or two before it opens up, when he gets his own business plan figured out, to give us a formal letter on what the hours of operation plan is. If he's got a hoedown one night and something else, some special events happening, live entertainment. That
So
would be good.
I could compose a letter to him, but you don't want me to do that until the new
I
year?
wouldn't wait, I'd wait until, he wouldn't probably, he'd get ideas through the off season, and
Right.
when they've got it straightened out what they're doing, we'd like to contribute to that, right?
And just to mention, Cal and Jen have donated $450 to date to the community bridge. So they are putting it back into the community.
I think it's important, like what Terry said earlier, the public knows that we're not against this business.
I'm not against it at all.
By any stretch. It's not the reason we're asking this, it's just we want to make sure we're protecting the rest of the people in the community that maybe aren't 100% on board about that project. But It's a business, it's a good business, Baker's is a good business, the garage is a good business. Butler's is a good business, we want them here, we don't have many businesses in town, the more the better. But we just have to, it can't be the Wild West, we hope. But with no bylaws, it's kind of that way.
So friendly official plan.
Friendly agreements, yeah.
All right, moving on to storm sewer drain in front of fire hall. And that is me. I talked to a couple of the workers down there one day when had dug it up. And I was informed that the pipe, the bottom end of it is all eaten out. So I went down, I talked to Gary about it, so I went down, I took a few pictures, and then I assessed from what I had seen. And the way it is, it comes right under, you're all gonna love this one, it comes right under the monument. So I said to Gary, what we do with that is we just, forget about that when we're getting this fixed. And we'll just have the pipe come out by the wharf more.
Yeah.
The drainage pipe, instead of being right under the bridge.
Right.
But that's gonna have to be replaced right from the wharf, right up, I'm gonna say below John's. Because the salt water, if you look at that pipe, there's not much of a grade to it. And it's corrugated.
Storms would.
It would back up, yeah, and I'd say that's what happened, Paul, because when I looked in the pipe, it's unbelievable how much it had rotted in. Like, mind you, there will be salt coming down the road sometimes too,
Yes.
right?
We don't have to go even up farther than John's to out front of, Irving's, is that?
No, it wouldn't be that high.
Okay.
Well, that's gotta be fixed, that has to be on the list to be fixed too. They've got an arrow pointed at it, they said they were gonna do something.
Where's that manhole?
The manhole right by James Irvin's driveway, there's one there that's going funky. And the one down by the fire hall, they patched up,
Yeah, that.
and it's, well, the pipe just rotted there, but he said there was nothing to
And
really
then
connect to. So.
from John's down to,
And I'm figuring on a super high tide, that water would probably back up to the bottom of the hill where John's is. So,
but going the other way, it would go to the other side of the bridge needing to be replaced?
no. This is a culvert drain.
Empties out into the river.
Oh, okay.
It empties right into the river.
Okay.
And the river Harbour, yeah. And it goes right under the monument and then it comes up along and you can follow the manholes. The manholes.
The only pipe that goes across the bridge.
And I would say it's gotta be replaced right up to John's, but they're gonna have to go with something that's not gonna rust out either. I would think pipes or concrete or something, pipes. It's gonna have to be something to that effect because there's salt water going back into it, so it's just gonna repeat what it's done
Even,
before.
my experience with those culverts, even if it's not salt water, fresh water, will be just as bad.
Yeah.
We're looking some of the.
If it lays there,
Lays
Yeah,
there,
there's not much of a
because
grade.
when it does flow, it often
Yeah.
has particulate in it. Take the way down and start
Just
chipping away,
rolls it, yeah.
takes away the galvanization and opens up the erosion. And, yeah. But thank goodness that pipe is not a pressurized or a fluid
Oh,
conductor, it's just gravity feed to the harbor.
yeah,
Because it does go right underneath there, just beautiful fisherman's book out there, so we don't want to dig that up.
no,
And then part of that was counselors were to bring road repair issues to this meeting so that we can compose that letter.
okay,
I've got a list and building, I just added a manhole James Irving's. I'm gonna look back at something we did a couple of years back, that never got acted on, that add those in. So anybody have any other they can think of that jumps to mind about the roads, all the roads in town?
well,
I hope, I'll put it in the letter because my frontage has been askew since they realigned the road, since they tore down, the old Fraser house and moved the road. And I've got that no man's land in front of my house, which they will not repair, and they will not clear, they just declare hands off. So they could address that at this point if they're doing.
You can send me an email, John, or anybody that's got ideas,
And also, is there any chance they'll repave that whole parking area between the fire hall and the wharf while we're doing this?
Well, I'm into working on that between the Port Authority.
Yeah.
Cause we're trying to get the wharf done on the south side. And we're just waiting to hear back from them on it, but we've already applied for the money and.
So that'd be the time to get it.
Well, that's why I'm thinking do the
Yeah.
storm drain next year. And
Yeah.
kill two birds with one stone.
Mm.
And that way it might be a little cheaper that way.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Gary, can you and I work on a letter?
I'm gonna put some pictures.
And I'll go around here too and have another look. at
Yeah, there's some culverts that are frosty
And
asphalt
The
repairs.
curbs,
Curbs,
the
yeah.
curbs. First, I understand they're gonna come good for curbs.
Maybe replace them with concrete.
Yeah, concrete. First, they were talking pavement, and I said, no. I said, we'll be into the same things we were last time. And I said, why waste twice as much money? Do it once the right way. So then they come back and I talked to Alex a little bit, and Alex said, they're looking at concrete now. So,
I'll have that in the letter, for sure. So if you think of anything, maybe pass it to Ann. And then she'll get it to me and we'll write, give a nice letter.
Our Christmas wish list.
okay, on to the next one. Purchase of blue tanks, Mayor White. First of all, check with certain Mayor White, and 700. I received it, I cashed it.
Not getting it back.
Didn't bounce.
Well, I can get back.
It didn't bounce. Did it? Good. That's all.
Correspondence none, CAO report, administrative update, financial update.
I don't know if you're aware, there was a cabinet shuffle this morning.
Yeah.
So Rob Lance is no longer housing.
Yeah, Mr. Myers now.
Mr. Myers is.
What's really interesting to go on is that the Federation of PEI Municipalities Board met with Rob last night, and he said,
He was some laptop.
I know that, but
Legally.
they were hosting the meeting, I think they should cancel. We all went there and sat and talked about, like, talked about.
The future and how good,
Yeah,
I'll be there for you.
yeah.
I just want, there's one trial, I hope he passes on. That's all I'm worried
Where did you meet?
In Charlotte,
about.
Is that where all the meetings are?
pretty much,
Pretty
most of them, yeah, other than, the semi-annual meetings and that are held in other locations.
Right.
Ann and I drive in April's Village
Oh, dear.
next weekend.
And then I go to even farther for the CAO meeting after that.
I don't know where that is, that doesn't involve water and.
I thought you said it was Linklater.
Linklater.
That's closer.
Is it?
It's really close to Summerside.
Okay, but still,
Abrams Village is an hour past Summerside.
still, like, hello, we could have a meeting here for the CAOs. I did just have a question about the Halloween curfew act. We've done it every year in conjunction with Murray River. I don't know if they're doing it this year or not. If they do, it's $138. If they don't, it's $276. I've never seen this before I came here. So it's an ad in the newspaper that says that there is an 8 o'clock curfew for Halloween.
It's not really necessary anymore.
I don't think that's necessary.
That was my question.
It's been a long time. I don't think that's a waste of
I
money.
used to burn the bridge every year. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, and that was my question. Is it necessary anymore? Okay,
No, we'll get rid of that.
so we will not do that.
Who would enforce it anyway?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
RCMP.
And if there's little ones going out, they're long home before 8 o'clock. As soon as it's dark, they're out.
Okay, any questions about the CAO report?
It's nice, it's nice to see that our solar panels are
Yeah.
bringing in over $3,500 last year. And that's pretty nice. Okay? Too bad we can find more projects that generate money for saying things like that.
Like one windmill?
Yeah.
Don't talk windmills.
Oh, sorry.
Soon they'll be
Didn't
plumbing
know.
them in the water.
We're talking lobster.
Yeah, right.
Any questions about the financial report?
Our famous gas tax repayment, is that done now?
It is.
Oh.
So that money is
We're-
going to a
We're supposed to have a
proper
party.
reserve
We're supposed to have a party when that's paid off.
Yeah, we're supposed to go through.
No, well,
Right? What did we pay off, July, June or July?
July. Yeah, so the 550 is still going into the reserve fund, but now it's a proper reserve fund. Unless they make us pay back the 21,000 we spent on there.
don't even bring it up.
Yeah.
So we are sitting with surplus-ish of about 23,000.
That's nice.
So
Nice to have that little nest egg.
hard work.
Yeah.
Everybody's parts. So if there's no question, I need a motion to accept the CAO report.
I move.
I'll second.
All in favor? Reports of committees, planning, Deputy Mayor McKay.
Okay. Well, planning, capital projects and repair and maintenance are all three of mine, and we're gonna talk about new business again with the capital investment program down below, so. First of all, the planning, there was nothing happening until today. I got a call from Lauren Verhoeven, wanting to know if we're still interested in developing our property over here by the dog parks in some way, whether it's an old person's
Senior.
1-plex, 6-plex, 5-plex, whatever fits, or housing. And I said, always interested to talk about it. It was kind of a quiet thing lately, because I've been trying to speak with Hartwood, Justin McKenzie, and that was just a dead end. And Lauren works with this guy. So now there's a new guy, Darren McKenzie, who's actually building a house right beside the post office.
Okay.
And he's interested to talk to us about.
It's Jerry O'Keefe building the house there.
Yeah.
Oh, Darren's the builder?
So I don't think it wouldn't hurt if we get this guy to come and say hello to us and talk about what ifs and how it might work. If we're still interested in that kind of vision, or we want more seniors housing or something else. I don't know if we want to or into that still or not, to tell you the truth. That's why we.
I think it would be a good idea myself. I can see over here, it's just not big enough.
Yeah.
And I mean, the more people we can keep in
We've
it.
only got a couple of acres here, and it might be a.
Maybe we should be looking at some land too,
I don't know where,
right next door,
in the corner
straight across. Right in behind.
Yeah, like in
The one
Yeah.
that,
adjacent to your property. We looked at that a
Dr.
couple of
Mitchell
years
builder?
ago.
Owns it?
From,
New Jersey?
And what did he respond? We did ask him.
He would be open to offers. The problem with that is you have to have your debt asset ratio balanced. And we are heavy on the debt, so we don't have room to take on any more debt until our current debt is taken care of, which is 2040.
we're on hold for a little while.
Yeah.
16 years to be exact.
Just a little while.
Unless somebody wanted to donate land,
Yeah.
Ronnie, that owns this.
Yeah.
People can donate.
Well, I'll tell you another thing we could do. Now, it's been hinted to me by a couple of individuals around that mentioned that this land over here. And they said maybe do something with the rail park,
Oh,
some
selling
kind of
ground,
a deal.
okay.
with the rail park and
For.
Like an exchange.
for this, on this land, the deal on this land, like do it some kind of a trade type.
or
Now,
sell.
this is, nobody's been talking to this gentleman, but I've been asked to,
It'd be hard to see what a private landowner would gain by giving that up and taking the railhead park.
he's got waterfront.
Water frontage.
Or you may have to
So I don't
sell,
think it's very big.
Hmm?
It's not very big.
No, it's
you
narrow
may have
strip.
to sell railhead for the money to
Yeah.
purchase
Yeah,
that.
Well, I
but I
think,
mean, that could be in the deal with the landowner if you wanted to, if you could work out some kind of a deal. If you couldn't, well, you know,
and do we as a community want to give up railhead for that? That's a nice little spot.
I've been down there twice, and it's all number damage. I've never been down there other than that. To me, I thought that was a waste of money,
Yeah.
rail track.
And you can't hold a function there.
No.
because there's no water.
It's too far away from everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great spot.
It's a lovely spot.
It is,
Yeah.
but it's underutilized in my eyes.
Well, maybe I'll talk to this guy and have him come to a meeting and talk to us about how the economics of it work. And he might say, I need at least 5 acres.
And then I heard the guy at the river, he's trying to get rid of it. I heard he's, selling everything too.
Who's that?
Guy up from, that has the land on the wharf.
Oh, Tim,
Mm.
Jane,
Tim.
Joe, you're talking about Tony and Mary?
no, Tim, Jane, or something like that.
From-
His last name.
Right up across from the,
The seniors.
seniors in Murray River.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought you were talking about where the old anchor,
oh, right.
that's up for sale too.
Oh,
Well, anyway, it sounds like they're still interested in talking about it, and I don't know what kind of commitment it would be for us financially. That'd be
that'd be,
the deciding factor.
Yeah.
right? Okay, yeah.
So did you want to ask him
I'll
to
talk to him.
November meeting?
Yeah, see if we can do it for next get together. Yeah. Capital projects, we're gonna talk about that fiasco down there in a couple of minutes. Repair and maintenance, our budget is done. The, lights at the wharf, which look fantastic, now that they're lit up in South Wharf.
Right.
They look nice there. LEDs, beacons there.
if I look into the.
7:47.
Later, go to bed at night.
See those lights from Action Point?
You must see.
Yeah.
Almost burned the rat dead.
Yeah.
It went.
I know. Trying to get the lights lit and.
I said 7:47.
But better they break the no, so I can say, keep the thieves away.
Yeah, so that was it. That bill of our $25,000 maintenance budget was used up. Yeah, it was all money well spent. It was, we had a lot of good things, as I mentioned a month ago. We should just have a vigorous and aggressive program for next year, I hope.
Great work to get that all done.
Yeah. The Fisherman's Memorial, I gotta talk to you about that. I've been up to Lamb Concrete a couple times on the highway just before Gordon. You've all driven by on the
Yeah.
I'm sure. The monument, I'll show you the monument's done. The pedestal for the plaque is done. The plaque is mounted. The plaque looks great. The wording from Frida is all there. It looks really sharp. The only thing we're waiting on to try to minimize the mold and demold costs is the bell. The bell is sitting in his yard. It needs a little bit of work for the Heritage Park, and it's all gonna come together. So I haven't told them we're trying to aim for the same weekend of the Christmas in the Villages, but that probably is the most realistic.
Yeah.
Maybe the best time to do it. Yeah, well, the unveiling of the Heritage Park bell, the school bell, and the Fisherman Memorial, etc., with the lighting of our yet to be seen Christmas tree. We should ask for an update.
Of our something, she wouldn't even give it. As a
Our
food,
Christmas something.
Or replacing, or something replacing the lobster.
We should ask them seriously for an update at our next council.
Yeah.
Yes, because they were insistent on taking it over.
We're only a year out.
Coming up on 2.
I can ask Jack McNeil to roll on.
So that's it for me, and I'll be talking again in a minute with Pam and support.
Okay, newsletter, Councillor Chapman.
Yes, yep, just getting things going, working on crunching some numbers to publish these versus submissions. Anyway, so I've been in contact with all parties and getting ourselves organized there. I'm hoping, I had an idea this morning that maybe, the actual budget that went into the creation of the sign could offset the cost of kind of promoting, these verses in the newsletter, because there's a bit of a printing cost there, so I'm just working with Gary, to see, the vision is to have all those submissions and kind of a special edition included in the newsletter as it goes out this fall. And also thinking about trying to get that out like sooner, so it's a good way to promote this event and unveiling and, you know, have a little package that way. Yeah, so just starting to pull those pieces together, and like I said, hoping to be able to find some money to, for that extra production as opposed to trying to, yeah, reduce, what's included or look at other ways to try to
Are
manage
you
that
looking
small
at the
budget.
date?
For having it out,
Yeah,
the later third week in November.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, before the end of November.
Did you have a budget for your newsletter?
There is $500 there, so we could use that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess you'll have to contact the authors of these, and see if they actually.
Yeah,
put their name
I
in
did
it.
that. I mean, I did that. It's so long ago now that
Some might
I
not
should
wanna
lose
see
that.
their name.
That's true.
Somebody- somebody.
That's true.
Okay, moving on to sewage, utility.
So
Mr.
we haven't had a meeting lately, but I did read in the minutes where, are we still getting calls from him?
No,
It's stopped since he paid.
yeah, there has been no emails from
Okay,
disgruntled.
so I had to report for that.
I can give you a little bit more information.
Okay.
Because I'm married to the gentleman. Lawrence was complaining. And no, Lawrence has been working on getting all the old UV tubes, and there's a number of them that are just kind of
Sitting around.
sitting
Yeah.
around. He went out to the place, I don't know what it's called, and put a garbage can there, cleaned up all the garbage, and then has been working with Trojan, somebody or other, to get all the used tubes recycled and sent back to them. And that's not a cost to the sewage utility. And they've ordered 2 new sets of UV tubes, which is about $1,600.
That's all I have to report for that. Thank you. And,
EMO.
Oh, God.
Don't get excited now.
Ann and I have been like this for days. The initial project that was approved, we are looking at how we can rescope it. We were provided misinformation from the province. In a nutshell, basically what they said was, oh, if you have CCDF money, then you're good to go. And so we were great because there was a project where it was sitting on the books and we thought we were gonna have enough money. However, come to find out that for every piece of the project that CCDF does not fund, we have to come up with the extra 20% of funding that is required for the project to go ahead, because PEI government only funds 80%. So, and I don't think the project's dead. We need to crunch some numbers. We need to get as many pieces of this project covered by CCBF, the stuff that they will cover, and then make decisions about what's in scope, what's out of scope for now. The project is not dead. However, once we get all of this together, we are working against the clock right now. As a matter of fact, the province would prefer that we have everything completed by the end of the year. They will look at, well, we have the contractor, right? So like he's gung ho to start moving. We won't finish. No. I've been very clear with Reggie.
Because it could take the Secretariat 2 months to approve a new, this, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So
So
the year's gonna be over.
as it stands, well, Dan's been working directly with Curtis, and he's been saying yes approved, no approved, yes approved.
Yeah, well,
So we'll wait and see. But we're gonna run some numbers. What that may mean, however, is that there may be a portion of this that the village may need to come with. So my request at this particular point is if we needed to call a special meeting just to discuss this project and approve some money that may need to come from the village, would you folks be willing to attend just specifically for that? I mean, we'll try to give people as much notice as possible, but I don't know that we'll be able to wait until November's meeting. So we may need to call them. So I just kind of want to give you a heads up that this was a possibility. But at least now, if nothing else, as frustrating as this has been, like I said, I haven't slept for days, which is so frustrating with the process. I mean, if they would have just told us up front, we could have planned it better. But based on the information we were provided, it was like, oh, we're good to go. We got more than enough money. And then all of a sudden, the story changed.
And I did some really quick calculations this afternoon of what they would cover and what they wouldn't cover, and took Reggie's numbers at the high end and added HST, and then took that 25%. So we could be looking at $12,000-ish
coming out of our
coming out of
coffers.
our coffers.
Yeah. Well, that number is what you gotta bring to that special meeting.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's the meeting. That's
What the meeting would be.
That's what the meeting is
Don't
about.
try and say it's somewhere between
No.
8 and 20.
No, I just did
No,
rough
no.
numbers today.
But
This is-
the trouble with this whole thing, and I'm sure you guys understand that, is what would Curtis, what would the Secretariat approve? Of all the things on Reggie's list, which ones would you think have a good chance of getting approved?
We have the existing community center improvements
Yes.
that we've transferred money out
Yeah.
of. So we have that one. I worked on an updated scope change that would include the access doors, those handicap barrier access. It includes those, and it includes the original hallway renovation
Yes.
rearranged.
Well, those two items alone should be more than the $44,000, which represents our 20% of the resiliency fund. So where's this 10 or 12 extra coming from?
Because the thing that is that the province only funds, so the province said that they will fund 80%, okay? If it's not in scope for CCBF, we gotta come good for the 20%. I was under that misinformation as well, Gary, that because I couldn't quite understand what Sonia was getting at. I'm like, we have $43,000 in reserve. What difference does it make? No, that's not the way they do it. It is in scope for CCBF. The extra 20% come from CCBF, but if it's not in scope for them, we have to come good for it.
So, but I'm missing something.
Okay,
The change scope will have them in there, right? You're adding the realignment of the hallway. You're adding the barrier-free access doors. If they approve that, which is stupid if they're gonna approve that, but not on the other side, but if they do, why is there an issue now?
So let me use the example of the curtains and the blinds. So $10,000 for the stage curtains and the blinds. So the community building fund won't fund any of that. They won't touch it.
Yeah.
So the resiliency fund will pay 75% of that. So,
75%?
Yeah.
Or 80%?
well, 75, 80, depends.
80.
So use 80. So we have to pay the 2,000 that is that difference. Because it's not going through community
It's not an
building fund.
eligible expense.
Yes, not going through them, they're only covering 80. That puts that 20 in our laps.
Well, that's my point though. If the realignment of the hallway and the barrier-free access doors are eligible, that's gotta be $50,000-$60,000.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter that there's a gazillion dollars there, they're only gonna pay 75, 80% of those items.
80%.
You could, I mean, if you.
If it's 75.
Yeah, no.
If you went,
It's actually 80, 85, because some of it is.
Yeah. If you went and charged all of it to the resiliency fund, and that file is audited, they're coming back to you and saying, no, you put 100% through. They're only covering 80%. You now owe us. And I didn't want anybody going into the project with that in mind, that there's nothing from the village required. There is. Because I just kept having that feeling in my stomach.
Not the way it was explained this a couple months ago.
No.
For you guys that aren't really up on this, but we're supposed to be able to, our 20% commitment to be covered by our gas tax.
Yeah.
But apparently that's not quite so simple.
And that's why I kept picking away at it, because it just wasn't making sense to me.
So basically what our plan is at this point, okay, is to get as many items as we think we can get through CCBF. The one other big item that I would like to try to get through is the countertops in the kitchen.
Can't see that happening.
It's infection prevention and control, and it's an improvement. So.
Well, I didn't put that in the scope change, and I didn't do another project for it. I can call Curtis tomorrow and ask him if it's something that would be covered and then jiggle those things.
I would ask him.
Yeah, those are, that's the other one big item I would like to try to get through, is to be able to do that. And then if we can get those 3 items in, then we can look at meeting with Reggie and asking him to do a further breakdown for us as to how much each particular project costs. Because we have some good numbers from him, but they're not broken down enough for us to be, like, I need to know how much are the countertops?
Yeah.
How much is the island? Like, we need a further breakdown like that in order to be able to say, okay, we can keep this project in scope. We're not gonna be able to do this project right now. We may have to find another source of funding for it. The one thing, where they talk about the bypass that we already know has previously been approved, to tie in with that, which we would easily be able to make the justification, and I'm okay to push the boundaries a little bit, is that, the changing of the entrance and the moving of the sound equipment in order for us to be able to store the chairs in there, I see that as all being part of this project. Because if we're gonna create a passageway, we need a place to put those chairs.
Yeah.
So we could probably push that a little bit to include it, and we could make the argument that it is necessary, for that. But we'll try to see how much we can actually scope into the project. And like I said, yes, we will, the whole point of asking folks to come back to the table is to say, we need X number of dollars in order to be able to complete A, B, C, D of this project.
Yeah.
It'll be very prescriptive. But yeah, it's a little disappointing because that was not the information we were provided.
You know, you go forward on a plan based upon advice from the people in the know.
Yeah.
It's supposed to
And,
know.
and you, the work you put into this getting Reggie, and he's like this close to, we have the contract, thank goodness we didn't sign it.
No. And I told him, like, both when we met with him last Friday, and then I sent him another email today to say, like, we're not moving on anything. Like, we need to wait and see. But I mean, he's had subcontractors in here already. You know, based
And
on.
that's not lost if.
No, it's
if
just
this will go.
disappointing.
Oh, yeah, it is, absolutely.
I mean, the good thing is that, I mean, one of the contractors that was in here was the electrician, and he was specifically looking as far as moving the sound equipment behind the stage there, so that's not a lost cause at all. But the other person that was in here was the metal fabricator.
You gotta look at the end game here is huge for us. All these improvements that you've got in your plan, eh?
We'll get there.
This building will be just, a beacon in southeast Kings, you know, it'll be the spot. But it'll be the top of notch, the latest and greatest, you know, it'll be a fantastic spot. Resiliency Reception Center, official term is, eh?
Yeah.
But we as a council will have to decide if that extra 10 or 12 grand out of our coffers is worth it. And I would have no trouble saying yay to that when the time comes around after I see the actual number.
Yeah, we'll get you the numbers and,
Just because I know what's gonna happen, but how good it's gonna be.
I have faith that we'll get there. This was a little bit of a hiccup in it, and Ann and I were pounding away this morning, putting stuff in, taking stuff out, and then I went home and threw a little hissy fit, and once that was done, then I went, wait a minute.
We better let Paul talk about the fundraising, because we're right back into this in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, Paul, you're up, I guess.
Okay. Well, we've had our yard sale, and we made 2,700 plus, wasn't it? Around 2,750, something like that. So that was a real good
football.
thing. And now we're getting items for the seniors dinner, Christmas dinner. So we're working on getting,
Do you know when that's going to be?
we haven't picked a date. Hopefully I'll have it for the November meeting,
And that's for the seniors' Christmas dinner?
Christmas
How
dinner.
many turkeys? 5?
Pardon?
5 turkeys?
5:30?
Turkey.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, what
I said, how many turkeys? You want 5?
5.
Well, you need 6.
I
They're 20
don't think
pounds,
so.
I'll get 20 pounders.
Yeah, that should be good.
So 5 for 5?
Yeah,
Okay.
And
How
just
old do you
as,
have to be to attend?
65.
and just as
Okay,
an
fine.
FYI, this will not be happening again.
If it-
I will be
expense,
speaking to Lauren to let him know that Terry is coming to get turkeys for the seniors dinner.
Lauren who?
Lauren, Lauren McDonald, who he goes to get the damn turkeys for and pays full price. No freaking way. I will talk to Lauren about the turkeys, okay?
He told me, he said the last time I talked to him, he said, I'll donate.
Okay. Cause I know
Now,
that was too.
that was last year, but I'll be talking to him here very shortly.
And I'm gonna follow up to make sure that you told him the truth. Cause Lauren's
I
a
don't
friend of mine.
I don't mind paying for it.
That's not the point. Lauren loves to donate. And he feels very strongly about our community and what we do for our seniors and that. I mean, he's made donations to Gordon before as well. And so you do not need to be paying out of pocket for all those turkeys.
No.
I will see Lauren tomorrow.
Spend that money on
I was gonna get up first thing in the morning.
No, I go to Kenny Clubs tomorrow night. I see Lauren every Thursday. Rock's
Just before we leave the fundraising call, and see in the financial report, almost $30,000 in income for fundraising. That includes the hall rental and grab and go. But even still, Paul, you must be pushing 20 grand. Which is unbelievable.
15 plus, I guess, something like that.
Between 15 and 20,000.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
incredible.
That's
every year.
That's right.
Awesome. Just awesome.
No wonder you're tired.
Good job, for sure.
Did you recruit any volunteers to your committee?
When you're on here, I got a notice on Facebook. I won't say who it's from, but said, if you treated your volunteers better, you'd get more volunteers.
Oh, I know, I don't even have to know who did the post.
Oh, let me guess too, yeah.
Yeah, who do you think?
So that kind of hurt,
Yeah.
because I think we treat them as good as we can
I'm
to,
sure
you
know,
do.
for volunteers.
And I will tell you, she treated them.
Just consider the messenger.
Yeah, that's
Do not ever accept that.
No. Okay,
Okay,
new business, capital investment plan, application for fall intake, Deputy Mayor McKay.
so just backing up a little bit, we had some great news earlier this year. The new capital plan was approved at $500,000 for the first 5 years, 100,000 a year, which is just what we've been getting, which was good news. More good news came when they told us that we could use that funding for part of Pam's project. That was good news. I participated in a webinar, whatever you want to call it, about the new plan with the secretariat and a couple other characters in suits there. And they explained to us that by October 4th, we needed to submit for the fall intake. There's 2 intakes a year for these capital investment plans, part of the community building fund. And I specifically asked him, okay, so this is like Tuesday or Monday, or maybe Friday before the 4th. Do we have to apply for all $500,000 for all the total lot? No, just it's a fall intake. You won't lose any money. You can wait till next spring if you get other projects, which is fine. So okay, well, so at the 11th hour, and is contacted by Curtis, and he says that no, we have to allocate all 500,000.
Oh,
By October
geez.
4th. When was that? Thursday? The 3rd?
So what he was saying is not incorrect. What he didn't tell you is that, but you wouldn't get your $100,000 allotment. That's the part he left out.
But it was, in my opinion, a terrible presentation on their behalf, because he was going through slides about 5 every 2 seconds. And then he was way down at slide number 35, and number 4 was still showing on the screen. Everybody was looking at it. It's just terrible. Any questions? Any questions? Look.
Can you start over?
What was after 4th slide? So anyway, and I put some ideas together. This is what happened. You're working at the 11th hour to try to hit a deadline. We put $160,000 in for a sewer plant, sludge removal project. We put in a couple of new projects that we already did last spring. We added money, taking money in other projects, just try to get to that 500,000 plateau. So anyway, I didn't figure the sewer program would go because it's more of a maintenance issue, so that was out the window. So and move right. And keep in mind that when we get approval for this money, let's say it's $100,000 for parking and drainage over here. If we only spend 40, we can transfer the other 60 to a new project or an existing project. So not like we're just trying to get 500,000 at the door by October 4th and hope somebody likes these projects, but no. We wanted to make sure that we had our foot in the door before the closing date, knowing full well that some of these projects that we don't need this kind of money, we'll we have new projects for the spring intake and money allocated for that. So tonight, I think we have a resolution
So,
based on all this highs and lows and up and down, and we're all in good shape, and we're not in such good shape.
So what I ended up with was a transfer request to 3 projects, the Memorial at Sea, Community Garden, and the Heritage Park, just to get some money put somewhere. So I've asked for $104,800 between those 3 projects.
And they don't need it.
Yeah.
Those 3 projects are close
It's
to being
just
done,
somewhere to put it.
but unless
Yeah.
Curtis is watching there tonight, we gotta get the money in there, and we're fully intent on moving it somewhere else or something more.
it's a placeholder.
Yeah.
Right. For the existing project that we have, which would be for the community center improvements, that hallway.
Yeah.
I've asked for an additional $91,000 to that project, and there's a remaining of $12,000 in there right now. Then the 2 new projects were for the recreational grounds, parking and drainage. So I've upped that to $143,500. And the access to community center and cenotaph, I've bumped up to $166,10.
Now, those 2 last projects are the ones I presented to you guys last spring, but unbeknownst to us at the time, they weren't having a spring intake, and we wouldn't accept it. So those are not new projects per se, but
Carry forward.
more money. put in.
So by my calculations, that comes to $500,450.
It's just.
So with
Unfortunate.
that, if they're happy with all of this, unless I have to do something with stainless steel counters, that would meet their criteria of having the $500,000 allocated, and then we would get our $100,000 for the fall, because they do the spring and the fall.
Yeah.
And then come spring, we shouldn't have to do anything to get that money allocated. Unless we want to do projects and then it shuts down. Yeah.
Fully intend on doing it.
Do they send us a check or do we have to submit invoices for it?
No, they do, e-transfer of $100,000. And then at the audit time, that's when the annual expenditure report gets done.
And what do we do with the $100,000? Do we buy term deposit?
No, it has to sit in a bank account. where we-
Interest bearing?
A little bit, but they will not allow you to lock it up as anything. And even the interest you earn has to go back into the program.
Oh.
It doesn't come to the village.
They
want everything.
Oh, yes.
So I have a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Not yet.
Hang on.
Good try.
Good try.
Hold that part.
Cool. Oh.
He's gonna approve the 500 here.
So I have a motion. The council hereby approve the following capital investment plan submitted to the Canadian Community Building Fund for approval, as well as a scope change of previously approved project 1557 Community Center and projects. Recreational grounds, parking and drainage, access to community centers, cenotaph, and a scope change to the community center improvements.
I move.
Second. He's not interesting.
You guys vote? All in favor?
Yeah.
All in favor.
Looking tired.
Just listening to what you guys have been doing the last few days, it's making me tired.
Just silly. Semantics.
It's just to give you
Yeah.
more work. That's all it is.
Now you can do your other motion.
Hang on,
Yep,
I just have one really quick question.
go first.
I'm gonna admit that I got a little spoiled over the summer.
You got one?
Or got a little spoiled just before we adjourned for the summer. Would other people be interested in holding our meetings at 6:00 rather than 7?
Oh,
And I'm okay.
in the winter?
Yeah, like just as a general rule, our meetings are at 6 rather than 7.
The only person would see that probably conflict with Kelly, would it?
But Kelly can't make it even if we're at 7.
Yeah.
Not
And
But she can all over the winter,
I don't think.
yeah, because she's
Yeah.
through at around 3 o'clock.
I'm just asking, I mean, I'm.
I have no problem with
I
six,
just
but
like the
it's what
earlier
everybody
hours,
else,
and-
right?
But it's up to everybody what you want to do.
So that would be change to our bylaws, so I think that would have to be a new business item for November.
Okay.
What-
Not ready.
It's a bylaw.
What day is our Terry?
Well, let's leave.
Adjournment. You're up, Lance, you get adjourned.
He's got money to
Motion
pay.
to adjourn.
He's got money to pay.
All in favor?
November 13th.
I got everybody. We're adjourned. Shut that thing up.
Good night all.
Well, thank you, councilors.